Ladies and gentlemen, we have an urgent announcement. I am not here today. I don't know if you know that or not, but there is a substitute teacher! I guess you probably already know that because you're here and I'm not. So sorry I'm not here. What I'd like to do is virtually take you through today's assignment. And by the way, I forgot to mention, we don't do pop quizzes in this class, but you probably should have been aware of the fact that today's assignment should be treated like a quiz. That means you're not going to talk while you do it. I want your thoughts, not the person's next to you. You should be able to do this no problem. All right? So let's take a look here at the piece of paper that you were just handed out. It says Jackson Project Organization Quiz. There she is. Now, I'm going to explain the prompts to you here. So we're only in part one right now. I'll give you tips and tricks and things like that for each one. But while you're watching me, I want you to listen. And then I'll say pause, and then I'll go like this. And when you see the black screen, that means it's time to pause. Okay? So let's give it a shot. While you're watching, listen to my instructions and complete each prompt as we go along. All right? Just do it to the best of your ability. So for part one, think about what you know about Andrew Jackson. What have I talked to you about over the last few days in class? I want you to write right now 5 sentences describing him or what you remember about him below. 5 complete sentences. You have 5 minutes to do so, starting right now. Pause the video. Well, hopefully that wasn't too painful. Hi there. You look fabulous. What's with the reaction? Why is everybody acting all weird? Just me being myself. Just hanging out here. So, hopefully prompt one didn't treat you too harshly there. Let's move on to part number 2, if we shall. Part 2. What kind of a person do you think Andrew Jackson was? Do you think you would be friends? Yes? No? Why? Now I want you to think about Andrew Jackson's personality. Was he a nice person? Was he a mean person? Was he prejudiced in any way? Was he caring and kind? I want you to think about the stories that I told you about in class and perhaps anything that you found on your own. Remember, he had a hot temper. He was a duelist. He played it like it was. He told it like it was. He signed the Indian Removal Act into law, but he also adopted a Native American boy and raised him as his own. He defended his wife's honor, and he fired anybody who wouldn't do things the way he wanted them to do it. Think about that. He was a complex man. Think to yourself right now for part 2. What kind of a person was Andrew Jackson? By the way, all of these writing prompts are going to help you on your project. They're going to give you ideas. You can keep this and use it. So take a moment, and I want you to write a response for part 2 right now. Well, hopefully that second part wasn't too mind-bending, too difficult for you. What was that? Something... Pieces of the boa falling. I don't know. Anyways, moving on to part 3 now. My bald spot showing. Oh, dear. Oh, dear Lord. Part 3, right here. I want you to list 2 things that you like about Andrew Jackson and 2 things you dislike about Andrew Jackson. You may have alluded to them on your last prompt. You may have thought about these things prior, but I want you to, in this column here underneath the likes, write down 2 things that you like about Andrew Jackson, and then ponder 2 things that you dislike about Andrew Jackson. It can be anything. Remember, as I said, any school-appropriate conclusions that you come up with in this video work. You just got to think. Use your noggin and your ideas, by the way. So, 2 likes. 2 dislikes, but then the most important part, think about your feelings. After you list them out, which one do you think you feel more? Do you like him more or do you dislike him more? That's what you got to write about on the very bottom. I'd like 1 or 2 sentences to describe and explain why you like or dislike Andrew Jackson more. No.
Well, I think maybe both. I kind of like both. He's kind of a nice guy, but he's kind of...
No, you must pick one. Decide. Do it now. All right, friends. Now we come to possibly the most difficult part of today's assignment. Flip it over to the back page. We're at part 4 now. You only have 2 more portions to go. You're going to rank this list out, all right? You see there's a list of things there with little line spaces next to them. You're going to rank these questions in order you would choose to write about them. So figure it like this. These are 10 or so writing prompts listed out in front of you. 1 would be the one you're most likely to write a paper about, you're most interested in writing a paper about. 10 is the one you're least likely. So rank it 1 to 10, right?
I like this one the most. 1.
I like this one the least. 10, right? I'm sure you've made lists like that before. Rank them. Now you have to read it first and then decide next. Maybe you want to start with the ones you dislike the most, right? No way I'm writing about that. That's a 10, right? So take a minute or 2 or maybe 5 and rank the list from 1 being the most likely one you'd write about to 10 being the one you'd want to write about the least. They can't all be 10 and they can't all be 1. You can do this. Okay, now that you've got your list done, I know I look normal now, how boring. Now that you've got your list done, I want you guys to take from that list, look at the one that you chose as number 1. If you haven't done it yet, I want you to circle your top 3 choices, if you haven't yet, and then to the best of your ability, write 2 to 3 sentences right in here about why you chose number 1. All right? All of these are exercises to get you to understand what it is about Andrew Jackson that you're interested in and what it is that you feel you could write a 5-paragraph paper on him about. All right? Now, hopefully this has been helpful for you. All right? It at least gets you thinking about things that you need to, at least research to get interested in Andrew Jackson. Now, this is going to bring our quiz to a close here. So I want to give you a couple of minutes here to finish up writing in this section right here. Now, also pulled up today on my computer, I've got an episode of CNN 10, which of course is going to be then the final phase, the final part of this quiz assignment today. This is going to be worth a quiz grade. So if you haven't been taking the assignment seriously thus far, perhaps you'll want to go back and maybe rethink your answers while we are still having them in our possession. All right? Keep that in mind too. All right? Behave yourselves. Continue to stay focused. All right? CNN 10 is a 10-minute episode. I want you to watch it. And after watching today's episode, I want you to explain what you learned, but then in a more broad scheme, explain why current events are important to know and understand. Why is it that you need to be aware of the things going on in the world around you? Okay? It's important that you take a step into a bigger world once in a while, and the truths that we often cling to depend greatly upon our point of view. All right, ladies and gentlemen, with that, I will leave you, at least virtually. I wasn't even here at all today, but I will see you on Friday. All right, now tomorrow, Friday, is going to be Rough Draft Day. Pretty self-explanatory. I'll explain more when I see you. All right, so for now, finish off the class on a strong note. I will see you on Friday. Until then, be good, best wishes, good luck, and may the force be with you. See ya.